University of Hartford. Today's game, Hall Warriors against the 5th annual. I'll have the starting line. So the Hall Warriors are coached by Jeff Billings.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fiandella Field at the University of Hartford.
Ryan Carlson, Zach LaRosa, David Dubois.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fiandella Field at the University of Hartford and the 2016 Mayor's Cup baseball game as the Hall Warriors take on the Conard Chieftains. Hi again, everybody. Pete Lamoureux along with Jeff Kaplowitz and our fine W8C TV crew led by Jen Evans. The game is always presented by the War Chief Sports Council. Tough encore today to match the drama of the 2015 edition of this contest, won by Conard 4-3 when Neil Kelly of Hall was tagged out trying to steal home, which ended the contest. This, the second matchup of 2016. Hall won the first one 11-2. And the Warriors come off a busy week and a good one at that, winning 4 out of 5, including a walk-off victory Saturday over Fitch on a 2-run single by catcher Tim Dixon. Overall, Hall 10-8 for Jeff Billing in his 6th year at the helm. For Conard, they come in at 3-16 in the first year for head coach Sanjay Rambia. It's a young squad that has battled through inexperience, injuries, and also a 12-game losing streak. But remember, Conard was 4-15 heading into last year's Mayor's Cup, so anything is possible. Pleased to be working again with Jeff Kaplowitz. And Jeff, throw the records out the window. Today, all about creating those memories.
Yes, I saw both teams play last week, Conard against Southington, and I saw Hall against Plainville. And these are two teams that are really on the rise.
Mike Matthews on the mound today for Conard, and he'll be opposed by lefty Chase Jeter. Having a chance to talk with both coaches, Jeff Billing, very high on his sophomore left-hander, says that he is a strong Division I college candidate, throws in the 80s, and he says we should be impressed by an electric performance by him today.
Yeah, Chase also was in my classroom in middle school, and he and his brother, his older brother Kyle, and he's just a quality young man.
Also today at UHA, it's the Mayor's Cup softball matchup on the other side of this UHA complex. Conard there checks in at 13-5. Losers of 2 straight, while Hall is 4-13. Chieftains have won the last dozen in that rivalry. And, of course, Tom Varengia, his last year at the helm. We're losing a couple of great coaches this year, Tom Varengia and yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you for putting me in that class. Tommy really just done a great job with the program, taking over a number of years ago. 21 years ago, and it's just a marvelous job, including that one state championship.
Yeah, you won that in 2011 with that victory over West Hill that happened at West Haven High. The crowd now rising here at Fiandella Field as we get ready for the national anthem. And the national anthem just moments before the first pitch of this afternoon's game. of 11-2. So Conard, the designated home team here this afternoon, and Hall will be batting first. The lineup for Jeff Billing in his 6th year as the head coach of the Warriors. Tim Dixon will lead off, and he's the catcher. Batting second in center field, Tyreek Robinson. The 3 batter is the shortstop, Dan Roth. Batting fourth, Omar Montalvo. He plays third base. Charles Lage, the second baseman, bats number 5. Left-hander Chase Jeter on the mound. He'll bat number 6. Colin Campagna, the first baseman, hits 7th. Grady Brockway, the DH, bats 8th. And Derek Berube in right field will bat number 9. Michael Matthews on the hill this afternoon for the Chieftains as Conard takes the field. Matthews comes in at 0-5 on the season, a 5.53 earned run average. In 19 innings, he's allowed 16 hits, 17 walks, and 18 strikeouts. The defense behind him, Joe Celio will be at first, Will Jackson at second. The freshman, Jeff LaRosa at short, Colby Jones at third. Left to right in the outfield will be Sam Newton in left, Patrick Barron in center, Kevin Paleo around and right, with Sam Porcello, the junior, doing the catching and regarded as one of the better defensive catchers around. And Sanjay Rambia telling me that game in and game out, Jeff, all the opposing coaches come to him and say, hey, Sam's one of the best defensive catchers they see in the league.
What I saw in Southington was his balance and the fact that he really gets out of that box real quickly on his snap throw down to second base. I would happen to agree that he's got a bright future.
So Matthews and Porcello, the battery mates this afternoon, as we get set for the initial inning of play, the 2016 Mayor's Cup. The War Chief Sports Council, as always, would like to thank their many fine sponsors, including those in the all-state level: the Keating Insurance Agency, MACA Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC Counselors at Law, ESPN, the Conard and Hall PTO, and Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Gibson. Thanks to one and all for your patronage of the War Chief Sports Council. Make broadcasts like these possible. The dimensions here at Fiandella Field: 325 down the lines, 370 to the power alleys, and 400 to dead center field. Two umpires working here this afternoon. We talked about Hall coming in at 10-8 on the campaign. They have one more game to go in their regular season. They've already qualified, of course, for the upcoming Class LL playoffs. Unfortunately for Conard, a 3rd consecutive losing season. They haven't been to the Class LL tourney since 2013 when they won a contest against South Windsor and then lost subsequently in round 2 to Greenwich on the road by the count of 4-2. You look at the numbers, Jeff Kaplowitz, for Mike Matthews on the mound. One stat that stands out: 17 walks in 19 innings. Obviously, he needs to get ahead of the hitters and have better control today to give his team a chance.
Yeah, you don't have very many options if you're playing, if you're pitching behind all the time. Basically, you're just trying to get a strike. And when you go ahead in the count, you can waste a pitch here and there and climb the ladder and actually have the player go after a pitch that you want him to go after, as opposed to giving him something that he can handle.
Sam Porcello and Michael Matthews conference at the mound as Tim Dixon stands in. Again, Dixon, Robinson, and Roth. First 3 due up for Jeff Billings' team here in the top half of the first inning. Dixon batting .319 on the campaign, .458 on base percentage, and he comes off of one heck of a week. First pitch on the way, and it's taken on the outside corner at the knees for a called strike, and this game is underway. Dixon 6 for 14 last week, caught all 38 innings that his team played, including 2 extra inning affairs. They won one of those, lost the other, but 4-1 for the week as the 0-1 fastball is high and outside. Ball 1 ball and 1 strike. Got that email from head coach Jeff Billing, and what a week that this kid Dixon had.
I actually saw him in the Plainville game, and he went 1 for 3 that day, but he's got tremendous balance and a quick hands through the strike zone.
He takes low and away for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. And one thing you notice immediately when you look at the lineup, Jeff, not every day that you see a catcher in the leadoff spot.
I'm trying to think of who. Del Crandall, I know back in the Milwaukee days, batted second, and maybe Choo-Choo Coleman for the Mets of that initial year might have batted first, but I don't remember anyone else.
Jason Kendall did a little bit for the Pirates and the Oakland A's. way back when. But those are the only ones. You got better memory than I do, that's for sure. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Threw the fastball right by him. And the count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just underway, we're at Fiandella Field here at the University of Hartford. 5th annual Mayor's Cup battle between the 2 West Hartford public high schools. Here's the payoff pitch on the way. Swing and a ground ball towards second. Nice pickup there to throw on to first. They're going to call him safe. Hell of an effort by Will Jackson, diving far to his left that time. Was able to get up and fire a strike to first to Joe Celio, but the umpire said that it was beaten by Dixon.
Yeah, that was a great play. He stayed with it. Just was half a step too late with the throw to first.
So Jackson shows that great range in part because he was a shortstop last year. And you all know that the shortstops have that terrific range. Seamless transition for him, who Jackson played some summer ball at second to get him ready. Throw back to first. Not in time, where Celio holds on Dixon. So here's Tyreek Robinson checking in at 246, but has a lofty on-base percentage of 385 because of all of his bases on balls. And the pitch is low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 3-sport athlete is Robinson. Goaltender on the soccer team. And a shooting guard for Brian Moretti's basketball squad. Brian Moretti likes him a lot. Jeff Billing likes him a lot. Good kid, hard worker, great speed, and a terrific athlete. The 1-0 from Matthews. And that's right down Broadway. Evens the count at a ball, a strike. Outfield playing. Robinson straight away. Mid-depth for the infielders as Celio continues to hold on Dixon. Throw back to first is not in time. Super shortstop Dan Roth in the on-deck circle for the Warriors. Michael Matthews from the set. Here's the 1-1. Runner goes in for a strike. Throw down to second. In time for the out. Beautiful throw by the catcher Porcello down to Jackson to gun down Dixon for the first out of the inning.
And that's what I saw last week. That great balance, that quick step, good feet, and quick throw down to second. Got him.
And now Matthews gets ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He goes back to the full windup. And the 1-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3 on the outside corner, 2 away. So he froze him with that breaking ball that time for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Tyreek basically should have been looking for something that he could drive and got fooled by the curveball, just froze him.
So here's Danny Roth, 22 for 56 on the season. That translates to nearly a 400 average. And he swings and he fouls one off first base side and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. 4 doubles for Roth, 4 home runs, 7 stolen bases. Quite the stat line for the captain and the shortstop. It's an 0-1 count with 2 outs and nobody on here in the visiting first. And it's high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Trying to extend the inning for Omar Montavo, who's in the on-deck circle. This Conard team won the opening game of their season, then proceeded to lose a dozen in a row, won 2 straight, and the latest streak is a 4-game losing slide as they come in at 3-16. Swing and a foul off the screen in front of us, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
In talking to Matt Celio, who is Joe Celio's dad, and I coached with him on the Hall side, he said they were in a lot of those games and they lost them late.
Yeah, and 4 of those losses in the 12-game losing streak by 1 or 2 runs, so they were competitive. As the 1-2 stays low and in the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Talking to Conard head coach Sanjay Rambia. He had all kinds of praise for Roth, but also his own shortstop, Jeff LaRosa, the freshman, says it's a great shortstop-laden conference. Swing and a miss, strike three. Good bounce back for Matthews, his second strikeout of the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the home half of the first inning in the 2016 Mayor's Cup battle. It is Hall nothing, Conard coming up on WHC-TV, Channel 5, presented by the War Chief Sports Council. The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank their sponsors at the captain's level: Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, and the Coastal Tool, led by Rob Lutkin. Also at the all-conference level, Allied Printing and the Hartford Golf Club. Thanks to one and all for your continued patronage of the War Chief Sports Council to make games like these possible. Home half of the first inning upcoming. And the lineup for Sanjay Rambia: Pat Barron will lead off. He'll be in center field. Sam Newton will bat second. He'll play in left. The three batter is the first baseman, Joe Cilio. Batting fourth and playing third, Colby Jones. The shortstop and the freshman, Jeff LaRosa, hits number 5. Batting sixth at second base is Will Jackson. Kenny Andrews, the DH, bats number 7. Sam Porcello, the catcher, hits 8th. And Kevin Paleo gets the start today in right field, and he'll bat number 9. The defense for Chase Jeter and the Hall Warriors, along with his catcher Tim Dixon. Around the infield from first to third, Colin Campagna, Charles Lage, Dan Roth at short, and Omar Montalvo at third. Left to right in the outfield, it's Phil Gilman, Tyreek Robinson, and Derek Berube. And Chase Jeter, the sophomore left-hander, getting the start today for Jeff Billing. 3-1, a 2.66 ERA, comes in with a 1.17 whip. He's worked 29 innings, allowed 30 base hits, and has supreme control: 4 walks, 35 strikeouts. Has a 2-0 shutout of Farmington to his credit. Also defeated Conard the first matchup this year, Jeff.
Yeah, he looks real good, and if he spots and locates his pitches, Conard's going to have their hands full today.
Interesting for this Hall team, their 6th game that they're playing in 8 days. So they really need a good solid effort from Jeter, because I know that bullpen is worn down.
Yeah, he should go deep in the game, and I don't know what Jeff Billings does as far as pitch count is concerned, but I'm sure they'll keep an eye on it.
Lefty against lefty as Pat Barron, the center fielder, leads off, and he takes a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Barron batting .244 on the season. No home runs, 8 runs batted in. This would be redundant to say no home runs, because the Conard team does not have a home run to their credit the entire season through 19 contests. One great stat, if you're an on-base guy, is that Pat Barron has walked 8 times this year. Good pitch by Jeter, and he's ahead of Barron. No balls and 2 strikes with Sam Newton on deck and Joe Cilio in the hole. Jeter working with Tim Dixon as the battery mates here this afternoon for the Warriors. The 0-2, cut on and miss, strike 3. Blew it by him with some heat right there, and a very impressive start for Jeter.
3 pitches, you can't get any better than that, and got the strikeout.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and 1 away. So here's Newton, just a 167 batter with 4 RBIs to his credit, but he's an effective 2-hitter for 1 stat. He has 11 walks to lead the team. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And it's 0-1. 4 pitches, 4 strikes for the sophomore left-hander. Swung on, line towards center field. There's Robinson to his left, and he makes the catch, 2 away. Hit well that time by Newton, but right in his tracks was Robinson, just a couple of steps to his left to make the easy catch.
Right, and that's exactly what you have to do. You have to go up the middle and towards the right side against this lefty. He hasn't missed the strike zone yet.
5 pitches, 5 strikes, and he gets another lefty-lefty advantage, although Cilio, certainly the best hitter on this Conard team. And he takes ball 1 inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Joe on the season, batting .356, has a team-high 15 runs batted in, and has 7 two-baggers to lead his team in extra base hits. And the 1-0 pitch is wide. 2 balls and no strikes as he looks to extend the inning for third baseman and cleanup guy Colby Jones. Dixon the sign, Jeter the pitch. And there's a called strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. All with the shift on as the second baseman Lage in short right field. And the 2-1 pitch stays on the inside corner, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Montalvo, the third baseman, playing as a regular shortstop position.
Yeah, right now Joe's got his a lot of plate coverage. He could go that way if need be.
2-2 on the way. Swing and a number right side of the infield. Lage charges, picks it up, throws to first for the out. That retires the side. Great start for Chase Jeter. 3 up, 3 down, nothing on, nothing across. End of 1 at Fiandella Field at the University of Hartford in the 2016 Mayor's Cup. Conard nothing. Hall nothing on WHC-TV. Channel 5 is presented by the War Chief Sports Council. And welcome back, everybody, to Fiandella Field at the University of Hartford. Pete Lamoureux along with Jeff Kaplowitz and our fine crew. Top of the second, 4, 5, and 6, Montalvo, Lage, and Jeter due up against Michael Matthews, who worked around that leadoff infield single by Dixon and certainly was the beneficiary of his catcher getting the caught stealing.
Absolutely. As long as you keep them off second and third, they can't really score very easily, especially this time, you know, with him doing what he's doing, and that's finding the strike zone.
So here's Omar Montalvo, senior captain, third baseman, batting .339 on the season, has 1 home run to his credit. 21 for 62 through the first 18 games. Swing and a foul, and that levels the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Called by Jeff Billing, simply the hardest worker on this team. And he's going to play at Central Connecticut State University next year. So he will play at the next level.
That is no surprise to me. He really is a quality baseball player.
And the pitch is outside. And he's worked the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Cut on and miss, strike 2. Good pitch that time by Matthews, a time up. And it levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-year starter at Hall. Got the job as a sophomore at third base. All-league performer last year in CCC West. It's a 2-2 pitch on the way for Matthews. Swing, line drive, base hit up the middle. Solid rope into center. Second consecutive inning that Hall has the leadoff guy aboard. And that almost took the head off of the pitcher, Matthews.
Yeah, that came right back at him, and that's really good hitting with 2 strikes. Go back up through the middle and make, good contact.
22nd hit of the season for Montalvo. And the second this afternoon for the Warriors. So here's Charlie Lage, the second baseman, .310 hitter. And the pitch comes plateward, line drive towards left, right at the left fielder Newton, who reaches up and makes the catch, 1 away. Can't hit the ball any harder than that, but right at Newton, moved about 2 steps.
Yeah, That pitch was up, and he just handled it beautifully. I mean, basically hit it as hard as he could.
So 1 out and 1 on. And here's the pitcher, Chase Jeter, trying to help his own cause. You know, when the batting average and the OBP are exactly the same, the young man has not walked yet this year. 333 on both counts. 10 for 30 is the sophomore. Righty against righty matchup here. As Celio continues to hold down Montalvo at first. Steps off and then throws to first.
Wow. That was really close to a balk. He hesitated when he threw to first and got away with it.
Close indeed. He definitely has Matthews' attention, does Montalvo. Long pause from the stretch. And another throw to first. He bounced it, and a good pickup there by Celio. Again, he's called the vacuum cleaner at first base by his coach, Rabia, and he showed it right there. Still looking for the first pitch of the at-bat here to Jeter, and it's low and inside. Ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. You talk about a threat to run. Montalvo has 13 stolen bases, by far the highest total on this team. Throw to first, he gets back standing up.
He's got Matthews' attention, that's for sure. He keeps throwing over there, keep him close. I'd like to see Jeter take the ball up the middle or to the right side and see if he can move him over.
That's a 1-0 pitch on the way. And a good stop that time by Porcello. But Jeter ahead in the count at 2 balls and no strikes. Now it's a good count. Try to put something on.
Yeah, and right now you got to Matthews is going to have to be real careful. It's got to be a quality pitch right now.
2-0, 1 out and 1 on. And it stays high. 3 balls and no strikes. We talked about Matthews with the 17 walks and 19 innings pitched coming into the game. So he has certainly not had pinpoint control at any time during the season. Throw back to first, and again standing is Montalvo. 13 steals this year for Montalvo, caught exactly 1 time. Now the 3-0. And that's on the inside corner. Taking all the way was Jeter. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jeter stepping out of the box, looking down to head coach Jeff Billing in the third base coaching box. There goes the runner, and the pitch is high and inside for ball 4. And so it's runners at first and second now for the Warriors. So the first walk this afternoon issued by Matthews. So Colin Campagna steps in with 2 on and 1 out. Third Campagna brother to play Hall baseball after Nate and Nick. Certainly a family affair there, Jeff.
Absolutely. In fact, their older sister was my first captain on the basketball team. So, Allie, if you're listening, hi.
2 on, 1 out. Glance towards second, comes plateward, and the first pitch stays high for ball 1. Campagna 275 on the season. 14 out of 51. Grady Brockway to follow. He's the DH. Here's the 1-0. That backs him off the plate low. Ooh, they call a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Campagna in the Plainville game in the last inning hit a rocket for a double that actually tied the game up and put it into extra innings. He has the ability to hit the ball hard.
A game that Hall eventually lost on Friday night. Their only setback in 5 games last week. There's a ground ball to short, fielded there, goes to second 1, relay to first, not in time. So they get the force at second, 6-4. Campagna reaches first on the fielder's choice, and Montalvo crosses over to third, 2 outs in the inning. So here's Grady Brockway, the DH, and he does not bat for the pitcher, obviously, as we've seen Jeter this inning. He bats for Gilman, the left fielder.
Yep. Brockway had a difficult time in Plainville. That was one game that I saw, but he obviously, as the DH, is going to get his swings right now.
6 for 31 on the season, batting a .194, but he too has walked a lot to get the OBP to 324. Runner goes, throw to second, not in time. Runner comes home to throw home. Oh, they call him out at home. Oh my. Shades of the conclusion to last year's game when they called Neil Kelly out at home. And again, we're not partial one way or the other, but Jeff Billings going to protest that one. That ends the inning. So it goes 2-6-2 on the caught stealing. And this is another case where if we had replay, that'd be overturned.
Talk about replay. We were talking about that before the game, actually. I was watching the 55 World Series, Dodgers and the Yankees, and obviously the highlight of that World Series was Jackie Robinson stealing home. Until the day he died, Yogi Berra contended that he got him. And when you watch it, it looks like Yogi got him. And later on in the World Series, Billy Martin, the second baseman for the Yankees, he's trying to steal, and they call him out, and it looked like he was safe. So I think with videotape replay back then, that World Series might have had a different outcome.
Yeah, absolutely so. And we're talking about perhaps a controversial call here, and certainly one to end last year's Maris Cup. It was a 4-3 Conard victory that was maintained when they called Neil Kelly out at home trying to steal the bag. And that was the final out of the contest. So we remain scoreless. No runs, a hit, a walk, and a runner left as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Middle third of that Conard order. Jones, LaRosa, and Jackson due up against Chase Jeter, who, as Jeff Kaplowitz reminded me, very economical in just an 8-pitch first inning.
Yeah, I mean, 8 pitches, you're not going to worry about pitch count in a 7-inning ball game. Certainly, if he repeats this over and over again, he will be, in very, very good shape, even for the next start in the state games.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something certainly that they're going to look ahead to. He will not, of course, pitch in the 20th and finale of the regular season, but he will be the guy that gets the call when Hall begins the Class LL playoffs. First pitch of the bottom half of the second inning to Colby Jones is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Jones at .291 on the season, has 7 runs batted in. And he's ahead in the count at 2 balls and no strikes. Jeff LaRosa, Will Jackson to follow here in the bottom half of the second inning for the Chieftains, the designated home team here this afternoon. Ball 3, 3 balls and no strikes. Gets the sign from Dixon. Here's the 3-0. That's low and inside, ball 4. And the leadoff base on balls for Colby Jones.
Now batting number 4, Jeff LaRosa.
So here's LaRosa. Interesting story. Freshman, started the first 2 games this season as the designated hitter for Sanjay Rambia, and then took over the job at shortstop. Made some early errors, Jeff, but over his last 8 games, just 1 miscue. He's really solidified that middle infield defense.
Well, I believe playing defense, especially in the infield, it's all about reps. How many reps can you get? How many ground balls can you field? And the situation. There's a base hit.
Solid. Yeah. Lefty batter beat the third baseman Montalvo and into left field. So the Chieftains stirring the pot here in the second. Runners at first and second, nobody down. And Will Jackson will step in. Jackson at .298. He's knocked in 4. And he's got a duck on the pond down there at second in the person of Colby Jones. And he's got an even stat line, one place where you like it. He has as many walks as strikeouts, 6 and 6 on the campaign. Stepping off is Jeter. And he looks Jones back to second base.
Sounds like a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, exactly right. 2 on, nobody down. Bottom half of the second, showing bunts. Bunted out in front of the plate, and it's a foul ball. Looks like he got it off his shin that time. Late call by the home plate umpire.
Very late, and some confusion out there. The Hall team fielding the baseball, trying to make a play because of the late call.
Lage and Roth up the middle, double play death. Runner goes for third. It's a bunt and run. It's going to go foul, and it's going to be no balls and 2 strikes. Very interesting, as Rambia had Jones and LaRosa both off with the pitch. And it was a decent bunt effort down the third base side, but it rolled foul. So now what do you do here, Coach, at 0-2?
Well, you're just like Madison Bumgarner last night. You missed the bunt, and then you doubled to left field, knocking in a run.
First run of the game in the Giants-Cubs contest last night of the 6th inning. Happened during a commercial of the Penguins-Lightning game. That's how I was able to see it. 2 on, nobody down. It's an 0-2 count on Will Jackson. Jeter glances towards second, swinging a foul. He just gets a piece of it to stay alive, and the count stays at no balls and 2 strikes with Kenny Andrews, the DH, in the on-deck circle for the Chieftains. Possible preview last night of the National League Championship Series?
Yeah, it was a wonderful game. Those are 2 quality baseball teams.
Of course, your Mets and Dusty Baker's Nats have something to say about that.
Absolutely, but the Cubbies look good, and Joe Madden, without question, is one of my favorite managers. He really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he really does. And last night, a matchup of, in my opinion, the 2 best GMs in the game, Theo Epstein and Brian Sabian. They have 6 world titles between them in the last 12 years. And the pitch just stays off the corner, just a little bit low, and that levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'd like to see Jackson try to hit the ball to the right side here, try to move the runners back down to third base.
Certainly with the bunts off with 2 strikes, that's one way that he can help his team by advancing them into scoring position. Cut on and miss, strike 3. And that's a big first out of the inning for Jeter. And that's also his 2nd strikeout this afternoon. So he was able to rear back and bring a little extra that time, Jeff, to blow the batter away.
Yeah, he had good movement on that pitch. It was a lot of good late movement, moved to the outside, and swung and missed.
So here's Andrews, the DH, in a 280 on the campaign. 3 runs batted in on the season. Ball 1, throw back to first. Oh, they call him safe, and then the runner from second, Jones, goes down to third. Alert base running by Jones. Good effort by Dixon as he fired a seed down to first. But they're going to say that LaRosa was just back in time.
Yep, and then with the slide, the head first slide, and really no way to relay it back to third base and get the advancing runner.
And this is a tough situation when you have just the 2 umpires, the 1 base umpire, who has to make the call from over 100 feet away.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. How about you?
I certainly can't. Not with these glasses.
There was definitely 1 walk.
And that pitch stays high and outside for ball 2. So runners on the corners. 1 down and a 2-0 count to Andrews, the DH, standing in against Chase Jeter. Sophomore lefty looking in to the senior catcher Dixon for the side. From the stretch, the 2-0. And that's outside for ball 3. Another throw to first. Here comes the runner for home. Throw home. And throw back to first. And I think they're safe at first. Didn't see a call at home. They're congratulating him as if he scored the run.
Yeah, and Jeff Billings out there contesting the call, and obviously he was safe at home.
So Colby Jones able to steal a run here. And Jeff LaRosa back at first. They get credit with the stolen base of Holmes, Jones, and that's the first run of the game. They get 1-0 for the Chieftains. And it's a 3-0 count to Andrews. And again, I know that it's at fast pace and they don't have the benefit of instant replay, but And that home plate umpire could be 0 for 2.
Yeah, I didn't hear the call from up here. You got to be a little bit more demonstrative, in my opinion, so that the fielders and the runners know what's going on.
That, to me, was a lot closer call than Montalvo. I thought Montalvo was safe by half a country mile. Cut on and missed. And he's battled back from 3-0 to 3-2.
Yeah, that was a real good pitch, high and inside, and really could not handle that.
So we'll see if the runner takes off. He does not. Cut on and miss, strike 3. And that's the second out of the inning and the third punch out this afternoon for Chase Jeter. So Sam Porcello will stand in.
Yeah, that last pitch is the same pitch he got Jackson on, a little cutter to the outside, moving away from the plate.
So here's Porcello, 172 on the season. It's knocked in 4 runs. Another good stat line, 6 walks, only 3 strikeouts on the campaign. Here's the 1-0, cut on and miss, strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Unofficially, got Jeter for 9 swings and misses so far by the Conard offense. And the 1-1. Cut on and miss, strike 2. So Jeter 1 pitch away from striking out the side here after the initial run of the contest crossed the plate. And the 1-2. Swing and a pop up to left center field. There's Robinson over. He's got it. And that'll do it. But in the inning, 1 run, 1 hit, a walk, and 1 left. We've played 2 here at Fiandella Field at the University of Hartford in the 2016 Mayor's Cup. Conard 1, Hall no score on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank our many fine sponsors, including those at the varsity level. Low Tide Photography, Cork and Bottle, Blue Plate, Fast Eddie, Dave Newman Photography, West Hartford Youth Basketball, West Hartford Boys Travel Basketball, Open Arm Christian Ministries, Final Cut Barbershop, Edward Connors Insurance, Stanley and Elaine Phillips, Beth Barry Brown of the William Ravis Agency, and the West Hartford Girls Lacrosse Team. Thanks to one and all for your patronage of the War Chief Sports Council to make games like this possible on WHC-TV Channel 5. And welcome back, everybody, to Fiandella Field here at the University of Hartford. The 5th time the Mayor's Cup has been waged here on the baseball diamond. 3 victories for Hall, 1 last year for Conard. And the Chieftains drawing first blood this afternoon, leading 1-0 as we go to the top half of the 3rd inning. It'll be 8, 9, and 1. Brockway, Berube, and Dixon due up against Michael Matthews, who so far has scattered 2 hits, has walked 1, struck out 2, as we begin play here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Brockway basically saw 1 pitch, and then we had that play at the plate. Let's see what he can do now leading off the inning.
So here's Brockway, the DH, batting for the left-hander Gilman, the left fielder, and he takes it inside and high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Brockway 6 for 31 on the season, batting 194. And the Matthews 1-0 offering at the knees for a called strike, 1-1. It was the obvious statement by Coach Romby, who said, hey, if we get good control out of Matthews today, we'll get a deep outing and we'll be in this contest. The 1-1 pitch is called strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jeff and I talked about earlier that the 3-16 record for Conard, just a little bit deceiving. They've lost a bunch of 1-run and 2-run contests throughout the course of 2016. And in that 12-game losing streak, they led 4 of the contests. It's a 1-2 pitch coming plateward, swung on and foul. Got a piece of the breaking ball that time to stay alive.
Yeah, that was up and in, so it was hard to handle. Let's see if there's a little bit more snap in that breaking pitch with pitches to come.
And another 1-2 from Matthews. Line drive right at the shortstop. Picked up on the short hop by La Rosa. Throw to first in time. Nice scoop by Celio. Great defensive play at both ends. Goes 6-3 for the first out of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I really like the play at first base by Joe Cilio. Basically, what he did was kept the ball, kept it in front of him, and even if he knocked it down, it wasn't going to go anywhere, and he made a nice scoop.
Coach Rombia called him one of the top 2 or 3 defensive first basemen in all of the CCC West, and we've seen it a couple of times as a swing and a miss by Berube checks in at 200. Made the nice scoop for the out there. Also made a nice scoop on an attempted pickoff throw earlier in the contest that certainly saved his pitcher a bag or 2 there. Berube, the number 9 hitter. And he's behind in the count at no balls and 2 strikes. 200 on the season, an even 6 for 30. More of a defensive stalwart is Berube, on his way to the University of Connecticut in Storrs next year. But a good leader and a senior captain for Jeff Billings. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 3rd strikeout for Matthews. He struck out 2 in the first, and that's his first sentence.
Yeah, that Matthews overpowered him there with that fastball, and Berube just couldn't catch up to it.
So back to the top of the order, second time through, and Tim Dixon beat out an infield hit, not without tremendous effort from Will Jackson, who made a headlong dive to stop it. Threw to first, thought he had him, but he was called safe. And the breaking ball catches the inside corner for called strike 1. Dixon 6 for 14 last week alone in the 5 games played by the Warriors, 4 victories and a loss. He also had a bunch of walks, a couple of doubles, a triple. That stays high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dixon also on his way to go to UConn next year. And if he doesn't make the Division I varsity team, he said he'd be very content to play in an intramural program. But a heck of a catcher. Good athlete, good student. And the 1-1 swung and bounced foul, third base side. So again, for a pitcher that's averaging almost a walk per inning, he spent much of the afternoon so far, Jeff Kaplowitz, in front of the batters a hole.
Yes, he's been very efficient with his pitches and getting ahead, and that's why they're ahead right now. Not much that the Hall offense has been able to do.
Trying to retire Hall in order for the first time today, and it looks like he'll do so. Popped up, first base side, Celio calling for it, and just in fair territory makes the catch. That retires the side. 3 up, 3 down, nothing on, nothing across. 2.5 in the books here in the Mayor's Cup, and the score remains Conard 1, Hall nothing. WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. We'll have more right after this.
Yes. Oh.
Now batting number 15, Kevin Palaio.
Bottom half of the third inning here at UHA. Conard batting, trying to add to a 1-0 lead. 9-1 and 2 in the order. Palaio, and then back to the top to Barron and Newton against Jeter, who starts Palaio with a first pitch strike. No balls and 1 strike. Palaio at .258 on the campaign. Has 4 runs batted in. The 0-1 pitch, bunted towards the mound, fielded by the lefty Jeter, throws to first. Nice scoop there, and the first out of the inning. 1-3 if you're scoring at home. Good range by the pitcher that time to bounce off the mound quickly and throw to first.
The first pitch attempt to bunt moved the infield in, and particularly Montalvo at third base, and so I think they were ready for it. And when he squared, basically Jeter and Montalvo fielded that beautifully.
So back to the top, and here's Barron. A strikeout victim his first time. Line drive into left field. That's a base hit. Solid single to left. Second hit today for the Chieftains. So here's Newton, who flied to center fielder Robinson his first time up. Wanted to talk to you about the contrast of the pitchers in terms of, it seems that Jeter works a lot more quickly, and obviously that helps the defense, doesn't it, to stay alert?
Absolutely. You always want to play, especially the infielders. They want to play behind somebody that keeps the pace of the game going.
There's a bunt out in front of the mound, and Jeter throws on to first for the out. It's a successful sacrifice for Newton. 1-3 if you're scoring at home. And that moves Barron down into scoring position. Something you wouldn't see at upper levels, a 1-out bunt to get the runner from first to second. But a little bit different in the high school game. A little lower scoring game, and you got Celio on deck hitting .350, so they want to give him the 1 shot, but he's going to be walked intentionally.
And that's the reason for it, because you got Celio coming up, and now with the walk, you've got first and second, gives the cleanup hitter a chance to knock them in.
And that's really a lot of respect for Celio, because you would have had the lefty-lefty advantage for Jeter. Instead, it's a righty-lefty confrontation here.
Yeah, and, he had a really quality bat last time. He moved and hit the ball hard to second base. So I like that move. I actually like that move.
So here's Jones, who walked and scored the only run of the game so far. And he technically stole home. He takes a strike. No balls and 1 strike. We've had 2 plays at home. Both have gone against Hall, and both, for all intents and purposes, could have gone the other way. Pitch is low and away. Picked up by the catcher. Throw to third, not in time. And the runners both move up 90 feet to second and third. So a wild pitch that time. Moves 2 into scoring position now with 2 outs for the cleanup batter, Colby Jones.
Yeah, they're out there now. Base hit, and 2 more runs will come in.
Jones, the cleanup batter, 3rd on his team in RBIs with 7 on the season. He swings and he fouls 1 in back of us. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Jeter needs 1 more pitch to work out a difficulty here in the bottom half of the third. Gets the sign from Dixon. Glance towards second. Swung on and missed, strike three. The strikeout that retires the side. Fourth punch out for Jeter. Conard threatens and they don't score. No runs, a hit, an intentional walk, and runners left stranded at second and third. 3 in the books here at the University of Hartford. It remains Conard 1, Hall no score. You're watching the 2016 Mayor's Cup on WHC-TV. Channel 5 is presented by the War Chief Sports Council. And the council would like to thank our many fine sponsors, including those at the all-state level: Keating Insurance, MACA Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC, Counselors at Law, ESPN, the Conard and Hall PTO, and Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Gibson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the War Chief Sports Council is proud to announce that in association with their sponsors in West Hartford Community Television, today's Hall Conard game is being broadcast live on Channel 5 and can also be accessed via the internet from anywhere in the world. It is also accessible at the game via smartphones. Pete Lamoureux and Jeff Klapowitz are calling the game. You can access the game via live Channel 5 link on the WHC-TV website. The game will be rebroadcast on Saturday, June the 4th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, June the 12th at 9 p.m. The War Chief Sports Council is the official booster club of Hall and Conard athletes. For more information, please contact www.war-chief.net. Now batting number 24, Tyreek Robinson.
And welcome back, everybody, to the University of Hartford and Fiandella Field. Pete Lamoureux along with Jeff Kaplowitz and our WHC-TV fine crew and volunteers. 1-0. Conard in front as Hall bats in the fourth inning. 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Robinson, Roth, and Montalvo first up against Michael Matthews. Tyreek 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Shows bunt, takes the bat back, and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Michael Matthews has scattered 2 hits, has walked 1, struck out 3 in his first 3 innings of work here this afternoon. The 1-0 pitch, and that's low and outside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Jeff, couldn't ask for a better day for baseball. Picture perfect, temperature in the 70s. Slight breeze blowing. Really, really nice.
Is there any banks around? Let's play 2, huh? Let's play 2. I'd like to see Tyreek probably go with the other way with the pitch. He struck out looking last time. And it's interesting because in the Plainville game, he was down in the order and Chase Jeter was up in the second position. Tyreek batted 6th. And I'd like to see him just take the pitch to the right side.
He's had 3 balls and no strikes, trying to work the second Hall walk of the afternoon. And there's a strike on the corner. Tyreek didn't like the call. And it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Trying to get on in front of Danny Roth and Omar Montalvo, the heart of the order for the Warriors. Swinging a foul. And Matthews has battled back from a 3-0 count to go full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Hall won the earlier matchup between these squads, 11-2. Payoff pitch is high for ball 4. So for the 3rd time in 4 innings, Hall gets their leadoff guy aboard.
Yeah, that pitch got away from Matthews. Basically, his body came forward and his hands were up, and that pitch was way out of the strike zone up high. He's got to find that strike zone again to be effective like in the first few innings.
Robinson's certainly a threat to run at first as Roth stands in. He struck out his first time as well. And Danny takes outside for ball 1. We talked about that 11-2 Hall victory back on April the 29th. In that contest, the game was tied 2-2 in the 5th inning. Controversial call at home plate went against the Chieftains. Hall got the go-ahead run, and then the floodgates opened. And both coaches said not only was it controversial, but it was one of the biggest in-game momentum changers of the year. And obviously Hall went on to find the victory column. Good lead for Tyreek. He's going. Pitches high. Throw down to second. Not nearly in time. And Robinson is into scoring position with nobody down. Good pitch to run on. And he had a great lead down at first base. He had 1 foot on the artificial carpet, which is a sign of a good lead.
Yeah, almost didn't pay attention to him as far as that lead was concerned. And, yeah, a great pitch to run on. Basically a high breaking ball.
So it's a 2-0 count to Roth. And that's low and inside for ball 3. Danny Roth will play next year at Roger Williams, where the coaches have already said that he is the odds-on favorite to start as a freshman there. And why not? He's just a tremendous athlete. Glance towards second. Now Matthews with the 3-0, and now he steps off.
Center fielder is straight away. I would think that he'd be shading a little bit more to left field.
Yeah, Danny definitely a big-time pull hitter, and ahead in the count as well.
If they let him go with a 3-0 count, he's going to drill that left center field gap. You got to know what the count is, and it's 3-0 right now. And if they give him the green light, that's where I would want my center fielder.
And the 3-0 comes plateward, and that's a called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Would you have green lighted him in a situation like that?
I think so. Down a run, and with the opportunity to basically move Robinson home, absolutely.
So it's a 3-ball, 1 strike count as Robinson gets a great lead off second. Swung on and driven to center field. Drawing a beat on it is Barron. He's got it. Tagging is Robinson going from second to third. Here's the throw, not in time. And Hall has the tying run just 90 feet away as he's moved over by the fly ball from Roth. So they trade an out for 90 feet. Good job by Roth to move the base runner along.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now what Conard is going to do at Montalvo. He can definitely is a threat to knock this run in.
Omar, one of the 2 Hall hits so far this afternoon. 22 for 63 on the campaign, now batting in the 340s. And he takes low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Omar Montalvo, senior captain. And he's played 59 consecutive games as a starting third baseman. Half swing and a miss that time. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Little indecisive was Montalvo on that high heat.
Great control with his hands, though. Those are strong wrists.
Robinson at third, 1 out. Top of the 4th. Conard nursing the 1-0 lead. And now Montalvo asked for time as Matthews a little too deliberate on the bump. Charles Lage in the on-deck circle for the visiting Warriors. Now the 1-1. Swung on, nub towards second. This will get a run home. Picked up at second by Jackson, on to first for the out, and that ties the game. So an RBI ground out by Montalvo. Robinson scores the run that equalizes things at a run apiece. So they get a run without the benefit of a base hit. They get a walk, they get a stolen base, they move a runner along with a fly out and score him on a ground out.
Right. As a former hitting coach, that was really very well done. Pitch was on the outside, he went with it and hit it hard to the right side, getting a run in.
As former voice of the Reds, George Grand would say, get him on, get him over, get him in. And that's what Jeff Billings' team just did right there. So here's Lage, who lined out the left fielder Newton his first time up. That's an 0-1 pitch, and that's outside 1-1. 2 outs and nobody on in this 1-1 ball game in the top of the 4th. And that catches the corner. It's a wide strike zone from time to time, isn't it?
That was generous right there.
That looked like it was in the lefty batter's box for sure. But Matthews will take him any which way. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball, called strike 3 for the out that retires the side. But Hall ties the game in the inning. 1 run, no hits, a walk, nobody left. Middle of the 4th here at the University of Hartford. The game tied at 1 on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. And the council would like to thank our many fine sponsors, including those at the captain's level: Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, and Coastal Tool and Rob Ludgen. Thanks to one and all for your continued patronage of West Hartford High School sports and WHC-TV Channel 5.
Jeter. Okay, right back in here, like up.
Now batting number 4, Jeff LaRosa.
Bottom half of the 4th inning with the game now tied at 1. And Sanjay Rambia will send up Jeff LaRosa, Will Jackson, and Kenny Andrews 5, 6, and 7 in his lineup. LaRosa, the freshman shortstop, singled his first time. 2 hits for both squads this afternoon, and he bounces the first pitch to second, fields by Lage, and he throws on to Campagna. 1 pitch and 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
Batting number 20, Will Jackson.
Talked about the efficiency of Jeter. He's had a couple of innings where he has been all of that in terms of keeping his pitch count down.
Yes, he certainly has. The only inning that he really had trouble as far as pitch count was the second inning, which he pitched through 22 pitches.
Jackson takes outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Jackson, a strikeout victim his first time up. 104 punch-outs this afternoon for the sophomore left-hander Chase Jeter. And there's a pitch on the corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeff and I were talking off air during the last break. Tyreek Robinson scoring the tying run after a leadoff walk. At any level, when you get a leadoff walk, you score 51% of the time. Just a daunting statistic, both from the offensive and defensive perspective. Really shows how valuable and how deflating the walk can be at the same time.
Absolutely. That leadoff runner is key to scoring runs. And we also talked about the idea of playing small ball and how different it is today trying to hit the big home run and get 3-run homer. But small ball, run an inning, 7 runs in a 7-inning game, and 9 in a 9-inning game, that's hard to overcome.
Nice play by Campagna, ranging far into foul ground, going almost halfway down the right field line to make the second out of the inning. Fine play by Campagna.
Absolutely. He went a long way there, kept his eye over his shoulder, and the ball just basically was cradled right almost at the fence.
When I see a catch like that, reminds me of a football play, actually, the catch that Dave Casper made for the Raiders to beat Baltimore in the 77 playoffs en route to the Super Bowl. Ted Marcher-Broda was coaching the Colts that day. He said he didn't get over that play for about 10 years. It was in double overtime.
And he's over it now?
Well, he passed away, unfortunately, but no balls and one strike as Andrews takes side inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeter trying to retire the Chieftains in order for the first time since the first inning when he got Barron, Newton, and Celio in 1-2-3 fashion. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike as it bounces away from catcher Tim Dixon. Andrews a strikeout victim his first time up. 1 intentional walk, 4 strikeouts for Jeter. And that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrews trying to extend the inning for catcher Sam Porcello, who would be next.
He got him on that cut fastball last time. Let's see what happens now.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Shaking his head with his Andrews, does not agree with the call, but he's punched out for the second time today. 3 up, 3 down, nothing on, nothing across. Second time today that Jeter has gotten Conard in order. We go to the 5th. Game tied at 1 on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council.
Now batting number 4, Chase Jeter.
Top of the 5th as Hall gets set to bat against Michael Matthews, Jeter, Campagna, and Brockway. 1-1 the score. Conard getting their run in the bottom half of the 2nd. Hall drawing even with a run in the last frame in the top of the 4th. And Jeter swings and fouls on the first base side. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Jeter walked his first time. One of 2 walks this afternoon by Matthews to go along with 4 punch outs. Jeter does not bat him as he throws him. Lefty pitcher, bats righty. And the 0-1. Nubbed towards second and caught by Will Jackson, 1 away. Got in on his hands that time. And Jackson made the easy catch.
Talk about one of my favorite left-handed pitchers that used to bat right, Sandy Koufax. And Baumgartner yesterday. You know, he does the same thing.
Was Sandy the best you ever saw?
For that 5 or 6 years, yes, absolutely. Great, just tremendous command. And I remember in the '63 series, there's a long fly ball.
But the center fielder, Barron, has it measured, and he puts it away for the second out. With that said, would you then agree that in the 50-plus year history of the Mets, Tom Seaver's the best they ever had?
Yeah, he certainly. Well, they don't call him the franchise for nothing. He certainly was. They've had some quality pitchers, but Seaver, day in and day out, was just outstanding.
One of the great days of my childhood as a Reds fan, June 12th, 1977, the day that the Reds fleeced the Mets, got Tom Seaver in exchange for Steve Henderson, Dan Norman, Doug Flynn, and the reigning 76 Rookie of the Year pitcher, Pat Zachary.
And Seaver was crying in George Weiss's office, the GM at the time. He said, "Come on, George, what are you doing?"
Saving a lot of payroll, George Thomas Seaver.
Absolutely.
And the Mets did not have a plus 500 season until a guy by the name of Davey Johnson came along and collaborated with another teenager by the name of Doc Gooden in 1984. And I must confess to you, I did bring and then forgot last year's Stratomatic New York Mets, so I apologize. Caught on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Grady Brockway. Matthews looking to retire his 6th consecutive Warrior. Brockway grounded to short to LaRosa's first stab up. And if nothing else, he likes to get on base just to clear the 9 spot out of the lineup so they can start fresh next time around. Very underrated part of the game, and something that you have to think about.
Without question. They don't think about it too much in the American League, though.
Very true. 3-2. Here's the payoff. And that's low for ball 4. So if nothing else, they do clear the 9th spot out of the lineup this inning. And here's Derek Berube. He's going to be called back. Ron Michaels, big left-handed batter, is going to step in and pinch hit.
Yeah, RJ basically broke up the game at Plainville. This guy, RJ's got real quick hands through the strike zone.
And it's a lefty-righty advantage, too. Big, tall, left-handed batter. Celio's going to hold Brockway on at first. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, the hit that he got against Plainville was also against a left-handed pitcher, so he's got real quick hands. I like this move right now.
Throw to first is not in time. And there's a strike on the outside corner to R.J. Michaels. Batting for Berube with 2 outs and a runner at first. Potential go-ahead run at first. Hall has never led so far today. Again, an awfully long pause by Matthews. And now R.J. asked for time and is granted it by the home plate umpire. Talked about the contrast between Matthews and Jeter. That's to drive your defense crazy when you're on somebody's on the mound like that. It takes forever.
Well, right now he just feels that he's in a spot. He wants to make sure that he gets an out.
Swinging a drive deep to right center field, and that's going to be in the gap. Cut off shy of the warning track, extra bases, and the go-ahead run, a pinch hit RBI double for R.J. Michaels, and Hall has their first lead this afternoon. It's 2-1.
Yeah, just like in the Plainville game, he came up, he got an RBI single to put it into extra innings. He really has a quick hands through the strike zone, and that was a great swing. Yeah, great swing.
So Jeff Billing rolls the dice and comes up with a 7. A Stratomatic 1-7, and they have the lead.
Without question. Like to see these guys' cards. Yeah.
Especially Roth and Montalvo. So here's Dixon up for the third time. He's 1 for 2. Infield single in the first. Pop to the first baseman, Celio, in the third. Potential insurance run standing out at second in scoring position as they look to make the 2-out merry-go-round continue. Little bloop behind second. Jackson's there. He makes the catch for the out that retires the side. But the damage done. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left as Hall takes their first lead. Middle of the 5th here at Fiandella Field in the Mayor's Cup. It is Hall 2, Conard 1 on WHC TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. And the council, of course, would like to thank our many fine sponsors, including those at the all-state level: Keating Insurance, Maca Plumbing and Heating, Reed and Reach PC Counselors at Law, ESPN, the Conard and Hall PTO, and Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Gibson. Thanks to one and all for your patronage to the War Chief Sports Council, the official booster clubs of Hall and Conard High Schools.
All right, thanks. Bye. All right, bye. She had her dad to shut off so she didn't get my text.
Now batting number 9, Sam Porcello.
So bottom half of the 5th inning underway. Chase Jeter working with the lead for the first time this afternoon, as the Warriors, with runs in back-to-back innings in the 4th and 5th, have a 2-1 advantage. And the 1-0 pitch to Porcello. It's taken low and inside. Porcello flied out to center fielder Robinson his first time. And he takes outside. It's ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Only once today have the Chieftains gotten their leadoff man aboard. That was back in the 2nd when Jones worked out a leadoff walk. 3-0 pitches in there for called strike 1, 3-1. Porcello, Paleo, and Barron, 8, 9, and 1 for the Chieftains here in the 5th inning. 3-1 pitch on the corner, called strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good perseverance here by Jeter to come back from the 3-0. Bouncing ball up the middle. That's a base hit into center field. Hit off the mound and accelerated, and Porcello gets the leadoff single here in the 5th, just the 3rd hit allowed by Jeter.
Yeah, Porcello basically had Jeter measured. He hit a long fly ball to center field the first time up, and that just took it back up through the middle both times. So good base hit right there.
And the leadoff man aboard. And it looks like a pinch runner down at first. Henry Fisher is going to run for the catcher, Porcello. There's a bunt towards the mound, fielded by Jeter. Throw to second. They get the force out. Great athletic play by the lefty pitcher of Hall to help his own cause and get the lead runner.
Bunt was just a little too hard and a little bit too close to the mound. I mean, you got to push that either to the right side or left, and it just went right to Jeter, almost like a ground ball.
So he threw it to the shortstop, Roth, covering second. 1-6 for the first out, and Paleo safe at first on a fielder's choice. Lefty-lefty matchup, ground ball by Barron to short, throws to second. They get the force out, relay to first, not in time. But again, they cut down the lead runner and keep the potential tying run out of scoring position. So Barron 1 for 3 after the fielder's choice. Paleo retired 6-4. So here's Sam Newton, the left fielder, standing in. Flied to center and sacrificed. And the pitch is high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. You know, one thing that's deserted Hall the last couple of years has been their defense. They led the CCC in errors committed a year ago. About the middle of the pack this time around. But they played very well defensively so far today, Jeff.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with positioning and footwork. You've got some veterans on the left side of the infield who go and get them.
The 2-0 pitch, and that's right down Broadway for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. You know that Jeter wants to retire Newton right here. Doesn't want to face Cilio on deck with a runner potentially in scoring position. Swinging a foul, and that levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, runner at first, bottom half of the 5th inning. Now conference at the mound as Dixon trots out to chat with Chase Jeter. Trying to get an update for you on the softball game going on here at the University of Hartford Complex, also known as the Mayor's Cup between Conard and Hall. As we talked about earlier, Tommy Varengia's last Mayor's Cup after 21 years as the head coach of Conard softball. He had his magical run the same year that you led your girls to the semifinals. Pitches high and inside. I always kid him. 2011. I always say with him, it was a good news, bad news scenario. Good news, he won the state title. The bad news is the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup in the same week. Newton asking for time. Now steps back in before this payoff pitch. Of course, the 4 million people who attended the victory parade in Boston would disagree with me. Payoff pitch is high for ball 4, and Cilio indeed will bat with the potential tying run in scoring position.
Now batting number 19, Joe Cilio.
3rd walk this afternoon for Jeter, although one of them was of the intentional variety. The aforementioned Cilio now bats with 2 on and 2 out. The one advantage for Jeter, this lefty-lefty matchup, certainly of all lefty-righty combinations, lefty-lefty is certainly a big advantage for the pitcher.
Absolutely, and the Hall coaching staff just maneuvered the outfield to shade to his strength, but it looks like he's got...
Oh, what a play at second, and the throw gets away, and the tying run is going to score. Runner goes to 3rd, and he's going to be out for the out that retires the side. Great effort by Lage. He tried to throw to second too late. The throw got away, and coming around was Pat Barron to get the tying run. And we're all even 2-2 at the end of 5 at Fiandella Field in the 2016 Mayor's Cup on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council.
How was it?
They were like these guys 2 and 3 times. They were really good. It's kind of like what's the show that they had to push somebody over? Valley. What's that called?
You know, my husband's not into the theater, so I usually don't tend to focus on it.
Jersey. You like that kind of music?
Yes, yes, okay. As you say it now, I know what you're talking about. I wonder if there's those pretty good ones. I live on the Bristol Burlington way, so I know a lot of people that go there often.
I better, exactly.
You want to sit down at all? Good.
So, top half of the 6th inning, the game tied at 2. And let's recap that play that tied that scoreboard for us. Lage, a diving stop to his right, just an incredible play. Threw to second for the attempted force out. The throw got away. That allowed the runner to come around and score, and then another runner thrown out at third base on the play. So it's a single, no RBI, error on the second baseman for the throw, and the end result, Jeff, is a 2-2 tie as we go to the 6th inning.
Yeah, this is turning out to be quite a baseball game.
So Robinson, Roth, and Montalvo, 2, 3, and 4 against Michael Matthews here in the 6th inning. Tyreek struck out in the first, walked, stole a base, and scored in the 4th. Officially 0 for 1 on the afternoon plus the walk. And the first pitch of the 6th inning is inside for ball 1. It's a pitch that's been a strike all afternoon. It's been a wonderful baseball game, but the home plate umpire certainly not one of his better games, that's for sure. The 1-0 is a strike, and that evens things at a ball a strike.
It just the competitiveness of Hall Conard, whatever sport it is, that Hall Conard is just up for grabs every single time.
Swing and a pop-up, foul ground, first base side. Celio over, and he makes a nice running catch for the first out. We talked about it before. We'll say it again. His head coach says he's one of the finest first basemen, and he said if they had a Gold Glove award for first baseman in the CCC, it would go to Celio.
Yeah, and he did very, very well by gauging where the fence was and made it look easy.
And that's a good point, Jeff, because these players have never played here before, and presumably if they didn't play in the game last year. We saw Celio, we saw Colin Campagna make a nice play as well. Over the shoulder grab in foul territory, fearing and nearing the fence. 1-0 to Danny Roth, looking to get on base for the first time today. Struck out in the first, flied out to center in the 4th. And Danny ahead in the count at 2 balls and no strike.
I do know with outfielders at the college level and at the pro level, they measure their strides on that warning track, knowing they got to know exactly where that fence is and how hard they can go after the baseball.
Oh, absolutely. I always recall the 73 playoffs when Rusty Staub ran into the wall in right field for the Mets, and they had to go on against Oakland in the World Series. No DH back then. And he had to underhand the ball to center fielder Don Hahn to get it back into the infield every time he caught the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember that play also, being a big Met fan myself.
3 balls and 1 strike as Roth bats with 1 out and nobody on. Line drive, base hit in the right field. 23rd hit of the season for Dan Roth of the line drive variety. He goes opposite field. And the potential go-ahead run at first with 1 out for the cleanup batter, Omar Montalvo. Roth really caught all that one.
What Dan Roth does very, very well is he gets his hands to the ball and he covers that plate very, very well. That basically was hands to the ball and got the head of the bat on it.
And he's got a good lead with 1 foot on the turf. Draws the throw to first, not in time. Montalvo singled in the 2nd. And his RBI ground out to second in the 4th. Plated Robinson. That at the time tied the game at 1. Hall subsequently took a 2-1 lead, and the game was tied at 2. Little bloop to left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. So Montalvo dumps one in front of Sam Newton. Back-to-back base hits for the Warriors. And they have runners at first and second as they stir the pot here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, with that ball going to left field and questionable whether or not the left fielder could actually catch it, Roth was very conservative getting into second base.
So Caleb Ritter, pinch hitter, will stand in here for Charles Lage. And now we're going to have a conference at the mound. And at the same time, the Hall base runners will go and talk with head coach Jeff Billing in the third base coaching box. The War Chief Sports Council would like to thank our many fine sponsors, including those at the captain's level: Hartford Distributors, Franklin Fine Beers, Cork and Bottle, the Babe Ruth Organization, and Coastal Tool and Rob Ludgen. And at the all-conference level, Allied Printing and the Hartford Golf Club. Thanks to one and all for your patronage of the War Chief Sports Council, the official booster clubs of Hall and Conard High Schools. While we're tied here 2-2, next door at the softball complex, Conard well on their way to victory, leading 11-2 as they play in the 7th inning there. So that'll be the 14th victory of the year. And Conard softball currently ranked 8th in Class LL. So Tommy V and company going on to the state tournament. Here, 2 on, 1 out. Showing bunts is the pinch hitter Ritter. Takes the bat back and takes strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. You saw the first baseman Celio charging on that last pitch from Matthews. La Rosa shading the runner at second. Showing bunt. Bunted third base side. It's going to go foul. So it's no balls and 2 strikes to the pinch hitter Ritter, who was sent up with the sole intention of moving 2 into scoring position. And if you're Jeff Billing, you take the bunt off here, which you do in most cases with 2 strikes, or do you just let him swing away?
I think I would let him swing away at this particular point. Bunts and it goes foul, that's 2 outs, and he hasn't moved the runners up. I'd let him swing.
No balls and 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 down. Top of the 6th inning, the pitch. Called strike 3, and that's a big second out of the inning. So the pinch hitter Ritter fan.
Now batting number 4, Chase Jeter.
5th strikeout this afternoon for Matthews. And if Hall is going to score here and reclaim the lead in the 6th inning, it's up to pitcher Chase Jeter. Chase walked in the 2nd, lined out to 2nd in the 5th, officially 0 for 1 on the day. Both the middle infielders trying to keep the runner close at 2nd. And a called strike 1.
That was about the best curveball he's thrown all day, and caught the outside corner.
And what confidence to throw it on the first pitch, too.
Right, and a nice down break on it. It was absolutely the best pitch, curveball he's thrown all day.
Pitcher against pitcher, and now Matthews steps off and chases the runner Roth back to 2nd. Roth at 2nd, Montalvo at 1st, both singled. Now 2 outs in the inning after the pinch hitter Ritter was struck out. Michael Matthews looks into his battery mate Sam Porcello for the sign. Gets it, comes to the stretch, comes plateward. And that's low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike.
They're showing a lot of respect for Roth at second base. They're pinching the 2 middle infielders near second and giving up a lot of hole on the left side and the right side of the infield.
Want to keep them close in the event of a hit to the outfield. Swing and a pop-up off the first base side and out of play. I agree. I think with this type of hitter at the plate, too, I mean, he can do some damage.
Yeah, you don't really, you don't want to give him that much opportunity. It's almost like a shift if you look at it.
A ball and 2 strikes. A glance towards second. Runner takes off for third. Pitch is low and outside. And it's a double steal. So Roth down to third. Montalvo into second. 2-2 count with 2 in scoring position. Now the 2-2 from Matthews. And that's outside for ball 3. You could hear the groan from the Conard side. They wanted that one. Campagna on deck. Porcello the side. And the payoff. Swung on, line towards center field, and a nice running catch is made to retire the side. Patrick Barron was playing shallow, and he came in and made the catch and prevented 2 runs from scoring. Hall threatens, and they don't score. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. Middle of the 6th at the University of Hartford in the 2016 Mayor's Cup. The game remains tied at 2 on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. So, bottom half of the 6th inning, 4, 5, and 6 for Conard. Jones, LaRosa, and Jackson against Chase Jeter. Both starters have gone the route here this afternoon. At stake, the Mayor's Cup. Conard trying to retain it after they won it for the first time last year in 4 tries. 4-3 in dramatic fashion. And we're headed for more late inning drama here this afternoon. No balls and 1 strike to Jones, who walked and scored in the 2nd, credited with stealing home, struck out in the 3rd, 0 for 1 on the day. Matthews has scattered just 4 hits this afternoon, as he's pitched very effectively. Has walked 3, struck out 5. And has a 1-1 count against the cleanup batter, Jones. And there's a called strike, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, I'd like to see the stat on how many hitters he's worked in front of today. It's got to be about 70%.
I would say it's close to that.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 6th punch out today for Chase Jeter, and a big first out here in the 6th inning.
Jeff LaRosa.
So here's the freshman shortstop, LaRosa. Opposite field single in the 2nd. Grounded out to 2nd in the 4th, 1 for 2 on the day. And the pitch on the way. And he starts him with a breaking ball on the outside. No balls and 1 strike. Swung on, ground ball, base hit left field. So the left-handed swinging La Rosa is now 2 for 3.
I really like his approach to the plate. He basically is loaded, meaning that his upper body is countered to his lower body. And by doing that, he gets a lot of power in that stroke. It's a real short stroke, and went with the 2 pitches and there's 2 base hits. And that's a great approach. He's got a great future. I really like the way he stands up to the plate and his approach to hitting.
Sanjay Rambia, who talked about how rich the conference is with shortstops, and we have 2 fine ones today in Roth and La Rosa, loves his future and loves the fact that there's just so many great at that position within the conference, and says this kid can be a 400 hitter for his last 2 years. Throw to first, not in time. Started the year as the DH first 2 games. Then he's been in the field, and his play defensively has really allowed him to remain there, not be the DH. Throw back to first, not in time. Has to be tough, Jeff, to be a shortstop, to concentrate on both defense and hitting as just a freshman.
Absolutely, but you just have to stick with it. Again, we talk about it. You get your reps in the field, and you have a positive approach at the plate, and that's what I see with him right now. And like I said, the future is just bright, very bright for him.
Another first pitch strike for Jeter, the 0-1. He was able to check the swing in time, was Jackson. And it evens the count at 1-1. Will 0 for 2, struck out in the second, popped to first in the fourth. That was the nice play by Campagna. Throw to first, again back standing, is the base runner. Obviously so much tougher to steal off a lefty because he's looking right at you. Throw back to first, and he's out. They've tried it so many times, and the persistence has paid off for Tim Dixon as he throws a C down to Campagna at first, and they retire the pinch runner for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that should not have happened, especially with a right-hand batter. You see the catcher. It doesn't as if he throws behind the plate, and that really should not have happened.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Nice play by Roth to his left. Throw to first. In time. A great scoop by Campagna. Side retired. Roth with the great range to his left. Campagna the excellent scoop. And that retires the side. A hit, nobody left. We go on to the 7th. The game still tied at 2 on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council.
I'm thinking it's more of a, yeah. They're saying it's not broken, but I just gotta see if it's fractured or not. So. Better to see this one.
Yo, Castro or Avi?
Good ball game here this afternoon in the 2016 edition of the Mayor's Cup. 2-2 as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. And one of the stories today, Jeff Kaplowitz, Michael Matthews staying away for the most part from the bases on balls. He had averaged almost 1 per inning coming in, just 3 walks this afternoon. He's allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, 5 strikeouts to go with those 3 walks, and he's done a really good job here this afternoon.
Well, he's certainly on the right side of the scale, you know, more strikeouts than walks, and that hasn't been the case previously.
So we'll see what he does here in the 7th. Bottom third of the order for Hall. It'll be Campagna, Brockway, and Michaels. So here's Campagna, 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd, flied out to the center fielder in the 5th. Ball 1 is high, 1 ball and no strikes. Hall had the leadoff guys on in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th. They've done it 3 times in the 6 previous innings. And they're looking for an all-important opportunity to get that leadoff man aboard here. And halfway home is Campagna, 2 balls and no strikes. Matthews working in tandem with Sam Porcello, the junior backstop here this afternoon. And that's outside, 3 balls and no strikes. We all remember what happened when Robinson was walked to lead off. The 4th came around to score. And now Sanjay Arambia out to the mound. He's going to talk with Matthews and a conference with Porcello as well as first baseman Celio. And remember in that 4th inning, Jeff, leadoff walk came around to score without the benefit of a hit. They got a walk and 2 advancements via fly out and ground out to plate the first run of the game.
I agree. You can't really lose Campagna here, and if it does, that 51% rule comes into play.
51% of the time, at every level, a leadoff walk comes around to score. That's why the great baseball historian Bill James says the walk is the most underrated event in all of sports.
Except for the guy going from home to first.
Exactly. So after the talk from Arambia, the 3-0 pitch is right in there for a strike. And no disrespect to Campagna, but if you're a pitcher, not only do you not want to walk the leadoff guy, you don't want to walk a guy that's batting 7th in the lineup as well.
Absolutely. I mean, and here it is. There's
Ball 4. And the leadoff man aboard. 4th walk this afternoon and tonight by the pitcher Michael Matthews. So Gitman is going to bat for Brockway after pinch running for him back in the 5th inning. So here's Gitman with Conard anticipating bunt as you see the 3rd baseman Jones in shy of the bag. First baseman Celio, of course, is holding on the runner. And now Matthews steps off. Two-two tie as we play here in the top half of the 7th inning. As Hall looks to reclaim the Mayor's Cup. There's the bunt, bunted up in the air. The pitcher calls for it, and Matthews has it for the first out. So Gitman has to sacrifice, and he can't get the job done. Pops it high in the air, and pouncing off the mound is Matthews to put it away for the first out of the inning.
Well, Jeff Billings elected to play small ball here and just give out and advance the runner. And that execution of the bunt up in the air is absolutely not the way to do it. It just it's unfortunate for Hall, but Conard now has an out, and runner's still at first base.
So here's Berube. And here's one of the subtleties of the high school game. He was pinch hit for by Michaels, who delivered a rousing RBI double to deep right center field, and now Berube gets another chance again.
Yeah, that's the flex rule in high school, and the substitution, which is pretty much like free substitution with limits. And with that being said, you can use your lineup in many, many different ways to take advantage, offensively and defensively.
Berube, the much better defensive outfielder. Michael's the better hitting outfielder, and he showed why last time this spot was up. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball called strike 3. Berube can't believe it, but it's the second out of the inning. He froze the batter right there. Excellent pitch.
Yep, and Berube actually asked for timeout. He had his hand up, turned to the umpire, and was not ready to hit that pitch at all. The umpire did not grant him the timeout.
So back to the top, and here's Tim Dixon. 1 for 3 on the day, and he takes high for ball 1. Reached on an infield single after a marvelous play by Will Jackson in the first. Subsequently popped to first and popped to second. Yeah, that home plate umpire, he has things his own way, doesn't he?
That's why he's behind the plate.
1 ball, no strikes. And that right down the heart of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dixon 6 hits in 5 games last week. 4 victories for Hall in that span. Runner goes, pitches low and in the dirt, blocked by Porcello, no throw, and into second, standing with the stolen base. So now a base hit to the outfield away from reclaiming the lead.
Yep, and with 2 outs, pitching is very important right now. You can't make a mistake right now with 2 outs.
The 2-1 is swung on and fouled first base side. It's going to land over in the softball field. And the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nice crowd this afternoon here at Fiandella Field, home of the Hartford Hawks, for their April and May America East games. Long look in from Matthews to Porcello for the side. Shortstop La Rosa trying to keep the runner close at second. And the 2-2. Nubbed first base side and just foul. Trying to go opposite way that time. And it really takes something if you're going to get by Cilio at first base.
Yeah, it was a good try. That was foul, but boy, Dixon looks like he's going to be a tough out at this time at the plate.
458 OBP starting the day. Second most difficult to retire in the lineup behind Roth. And now time is called. Matthews took too much time. And now Dixon stepped out. Shortstop La Rosa. Bird dogging the runner at second. And the 2-2 comes plateward. High for ball 3. 3-2 with Tyreek Robinson waiting on deck for the Warriors. From the set is Matthews. And the payoff pitch. Swung on and popped up foul back of home plate and out of play. And we'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Very interesting to start the runner. He's not forced there on the 3-2. So if it's ball 4, they could throw down the third conceivably and get him out.
Well, you got one of your better hitters here, and there's confidence he's not going to strike out.
Ball 4, and Dixon walks second free pass of the inning. And that's the 5th walk for Matthews. So here's Robinson, who struck out in the 1st, walked, stole a base, and scored in the 4th, popped to 1st in the 6th. He's 0 for 2. This is the man, if you're Michael Matthews, you want to retire because you don't want to deal with either Dan Roth or Omar Montalvo to follow. Porcello flashes aside. And the first pitch, ground ball to second, fielded on 2 hops by Jackson. On to Celio for the out. That retires the side. Second consecutive inning that Hall threatens with 2 on and can't score. Great job by Matthews to work out a difficulty. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left. Bottom half of the 7th inning, Conard can win it right here. The game tied at 2 on WHC TV. Channel 5 is presented by the War Chief Sports Council.
Who's up? Who's live? Thank you. Oh, I saw him come through earlier. Yeah.
You doing okay? Okay? You doing good? You're getting tired and want to go. You just have to say the word, otherwise we can see as long as you want.
Now pitching for the All Warriors, number 9, Derek Berube.
So pitching change for Hall as we begin play in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Derek Berube replacing Chase Jeter, who went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 6. And now Berube takes over for the sophomore Jeter. Senior captain is Berube. Defensive stalwart in right field. And the Yukon-bound right-hander will get his warm-up tosses before they begin play here in the bottom of the 7th. Lower third of the Chieftains order. Andrews, Porcello, and Palaio due up against the righty pitcher. And Chase Jeter, the sophomore, done for the day. Certainly acquitted himself well, Jeff.
Absolutely. Great showing. Had command of his pitches. Got out of a couple of tough jams. And that shows poise and a lot of competitive spirit.
So here's the DH Andrews. Twice a strikeout victim against Jeter, so he hopes that seeing Berube will bring some different results for him. And the first pitch is high and inside, almost hit him. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. You can hear the enthusiasm from the Conard side and from the Conard bench as well. He missed inside, and he overcompensated. Did Berube missing outside? It's 2 balls and no strikes. Late time granted right there to Kenny Andrews. Who was the Hall batter that said that he wanted time and wasn't granted it and took the strike? And the 2-0 on the way. Line drive towards right field. That's a base hit down the line. He's going to round first, and he's going to hold on right there. Good job by the right fielder to get the ball in quickly. But a sharp single by Andrews to begin things here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, where he is the potential winning run.
Yeah, went with the pitch, hit it really hard to right field. A very good play in the outfield to hold him to first base.
So Jeff Billing out to the mound, talking with the battery, going over instructions here before Sam Porcello bats. And Porcello had a solid base hit his last time up, but most certainly he's going to be asked to bunt right here, I would think.
I would think so. The game is at hand. You push him to second base and then take 2 shots at it. I was really impressed with that right field play. Took a great line on that base hit and held in first base, which really is so important in the late innings.
That was a huge play, because then you would have had the runner in scoring position, and then you could bunt him to third where he could score on a myriad of ways. Throw to first, close, but not in time. So Porcello, who entered the day just batting 172. Bunt third base side, and it goes foul. Chase Jeter making that play out in right field, and what a great play that was.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. As I said before, he took a great angle and track at the ball and held the runner to first. Very important. Let's see how it plays out.
0-1 against Porcello, who squares, but instead of throw to first, not in time. That's where Campagna holds on the base runner. Pitch is high. Throw back to first, and they have the runner caught between first and second and a run down. And he's tagged out for the first out of the inning. Roth made the play to knock him down, and the first out of the inning. 2-4-6 if you're scoring at home. And it all starts with Tim Dixon and his alertness and his gun behind the plate.
Yeah, and that snap throw, basically, he hardly even got out of the crouch right there and just made it a very good play. And then in the rundown, they did it the right way. They throw the ball to the lead base and gave Roth a chance to run down the runner.
So Dixon, who already picked off a runner at first, made the throw that started that pickoff. Wide of third, and it's fumbled by Montalvo, and that's going to be E5. So just the second Hall error of the afternoon. And how big is that caught stealing right now?
Extremely big. I mean, it would be first and second with no out right now.
So here's Kevin Palaio. Now, if you're the head coach, Rambia. Oh, throw to first. And bounced up, and Campagna made the play. So you had an opportunity to pick the guy off, and then you needed Campagna to make a good play to keep it in front of him and not go down the right field line.
And I think it also hit the runner. So in that particular case, yeah, it goes down into right field. He might have made it all the way to third base.
Would you bunt away your second out here to get one shot with the runner in scoring position?
Boy, that's a tough decision. Good thing I'm not managing today.
Okay.
And the pitch, and he does bunt, throw back down to first, and not in time.
That's what Sanjay is actually elected to do, to move the runner over and then have the top of his lineup actually try to knock him in.
No balls and 1 strike to Palaio. 0 for 2 on the day. Bounced back to the box and reached on a fielder's choice. Good stop by Dixon that time. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Palaio bats out of the number 9 spot in Sanjay Rambia's order. Back to the top, and Pat Barron in the on-deck circle. Cut on and missed. And Berubia had 1 ball and 2 strikes. So he gave him 1 chance to sacrifice and then cut him loose and he was behind the Berube pitch that time. Pitch is swung on and popped up off the first base side. This will be fouling out of play. Campagna gave it a look, but it was well out of the baseball part of the complex, and the count remains at a ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs, 6 hits for Conard. 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for Hall. Conard single runs in the 2nd and 5th, single runs for Hall in the 4th and 5th. The 1-2 from Berube is low, ball 2. Nice block that time and a nice scoop by Dixon behind home plate.
What kind of shots do you need? It keeps cutting out. I'm sorry.
Here's Berube's 2-2. Just low and inside. Ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Derek Berube on in relief of Chase Jeter, who went 6 solid innings for the Warriors. Payoff pitch. Hit foul down the right field side and backing out of play. As the cirrostratus clouds roll in and become more and more ominous, Jeff Kaplowitz.
Now you're starting to sound like Bob Murphy.
God rest his soul. Payoff pitch is low outside, ball 4. A walk to Paleo pushes the potential winning run down to second with just 1 out. The late Murph loved to hear how he said the numbers 9 and 5.
And that was a trifecta, those 3. Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy. And to listen to them for as many years as I did as a kid, nothing could be more pleasurable than to listen to 3 outstanding professionals.
And then a good combination in the radio booth with Murph and Gary Cohen in Murph's latter days.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary Cohen and Mr. Thor.
And a called strike to Pat Barron. No balls and 1 strike. Gary Cohen, who was my predecessor as the voice of Providence College Sports at WICE in Providence. The 0-1. Inside, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Barron has struck out, singled, and reached on a fielder's choice and scored the run. It was paved the way by the Charles Lage error, the throwing error after he had made such a sensational stop at second. 1-1 pitch is high, 2 balls and 1 strike.
This is critical.
Berube needs a strike, and he doesn't get one, and it's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike, and he's 1 pitch away from loading the bases and pushing the potential winning run 90 feet away. Glance towards second. Inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
Put the squeeze on.
So after an error, now back-to-back walks, and Sam Newton with a chance to win it with 3 on and 1 out, and Jeff Billing out to the mound.
Yeah, Berube looks a little bit out of sync, and those base on balls basically, have loaded the bases and given them a tremendous opportunity now with less than 2 out.
Jeff Billing, 6th year as the head coach of the Warriors, meets with his entire infield. He's going to stay with Berube on the mound. There's some thought maybe that Roth would come in to pitch, but he's showing confidence here in his senior right-hander. Infield comes in, outfield very shallow, with the potential winning run at third base and only 1 out. And no place to put Newton. And a first pitch is wide, ball 1. Newton fly to center, sacrificed and walked, officially 0 for 1 on his afternoon.
I can hear you now if you want to come in.
And that's right down Broadway. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cilio on deck. But Newton wants to end it right here. And the 1-1 is wide. Nice stop that time by Tim Dixon. Don't want to see this game end on a wild pitch. Unlike Chase Jeter, Derek Berube, almost every hitter, has been behind. 2-1 pitch is ball 3. Berube bent over, wanted the call that time, didn't get it.
Yeah, questionable, as far as the margin where the pitch was. Now he's asking his catcher to come out and talk to him. Dixon going out there to just calm him down a bit. This is a big pitch right now.
Could be the game-winning pitch if Conard gets one more out of the strike zone. And if you're Sam Newton, certainly you're looking dead right here.
Yeah, I think I would, considering the circumstances, it's got to be zoned or take the pitch.
3-1. Oh, a called strike 2. A late call by the home plate umpire. Wow. Sam Newton thought he had drawn the game-winning bases-loaded walk, and he was denied. And you hear the applause from the Hall side. Payoff pitch. That's high, ball 4. Conard wins the game. A walk-off walk to Sam Newton. 3 consecutive walks and an error, allowing the winning run to score in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Chieftains will retain the Mayor's Cup, winning 3-2.
Yeah, very, very tough inning for Berube, and I'm curious to see how many warm-up pitches he had before he came actually into the game. The way I have it, I don't know if that's correct. Was he was in right field at the time, wasn't he? Yeah, really tough inning for him, and that's baseball. You got to just bounce back from anything that is a negative.
Very interesting. Same case scenario as a year ago. A 1-run walk-off win for a Conard team. Last year, Jeff, they were 4-15 going into the game. Today they were 3-16 going into the game. They pull out the victory that salvages a nice moral victory and a literal victory for their season to cap off.
Well, that's what happens in Hall Conard. I've coached for many, many years in this town. My 2 daughters actually graduated from Conard, and I coached on the other side at Hall. And it doesn't matter about the records. It's about pride, and it's a cross-town rivalry, and it's just the understanding that it's going to be competitive no matter what sport it is.
Jeff, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciated working with you. Great insight. Thank you again.
Peter, it's been a lot of fun, and working with you has just been an absolute pleasure. You're the consummate professional. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And hopefully we'll see you again next year. We'll have to do it again.
Will do.
Okay, Jeff Kaplowitz joining us as the Conard Chieftains come out victorious. They'll retain the Mayor's Cup. They lost the first 3 Mayor's Cup to the Hall Warriors, but they win back-to-back last year 4-3, and today again for a second consecutive year in walk-off fashion by the score of 3-2. We're going to hope to get the winning coach and perhaps a player to join us for the postgame, all on the way next as you continue to watch West Hartford High School Sports on WHC-TV Channel 5 as presented by the War Chief Sports Council.
Okay. On camera one? Okay. You want a tight shot now? Do you want a tight shot or just keep it here? Okay.
Can I just get a shot of the scoreboard? Because that's going to be your safety shot.
What?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got one.
okay. Okay.
I like kind of here when I like walk right there, but then I go.
Okay. Gotcha. Great.
So we're all set with that.
Yeah. And then as soon as you get the okay, we'll let you. You can take down.
I know, that's the moment I get it.
Awesome.
Do you have the
Crowley and
bag?
Bill.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Okay.
He said he was helping Dave inside.
We are on camera 3. Camera 3 is just going to be our steady shot. It's going to have a scoreboard. We're just waiting. Pete is supposed to be in camera in front of the camera. I just don't know who he is. Disappeared.
It's about his bedtime right now.
I know.
It's so funny. Earlier, the talent was in his office, like figuring out the bubble stuff, like layout and all that. He's like, "What's this drawing? Let's go outside." Anyone want to peanut butter? He's like, no, I don't want to fight you, man. I'm sorry. I'm fuck with you. I'll bring my clock. What you done, boy? He's like, yeah, you guys, it's actually Nicholas's birthday today. Happy birthday, Andrew. Yeah, we just told him. Yo, happy birthday, bro. Peanut butter. Oh. Yo, this kid goes, who's Andrew? What's up, Andrew? Happy birthday. Happy
He was right here, right there. He was right there. Are you Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go to this. Such an iconic picture. riveting video, huh? How about a shot of the team manager giving out cupcakes? Let me go get it. Hold on. I want a cupcake too.
I don't know what the story is about. There's usually a hall team. I was giving them.
And the cupcakes are gone. You're still on me? One? All right.
I just zoomed out a little bit.
Hey, Tyreek, are yours? Coach Bill. Don't throw them.
You're eligible to play.
Phil! Phil, your shoes? Phil! Are you still wearing cleats? Yeah, you are. Where's Sharon? Phil, your shoes. I know. Nice Phil. I felt that we
I think they have 3 or 4 weeks. Oh yeah.
Hey yo, they're halfway to stage. Too bad they have 0 games left. See you guys soon.
Can we go?
Are you going to rehearsal?
By the time we get back, like,
You're like, I'm mad.
It's not going to be worth it. It's Mr. Ray's going to get really pissed.
who's going? Can we go, please? Why are we still there? Why don't we stay if you can't come?
3 packs, it's not mad pack. Go, let's get out of here. I'll kill myself. Walk away with the chest high.
Who's conducting the interview? Oh, okay. Pete. Where is Pete? I don't see him. Oh, is he? Thank you for spreading that.
You waiting for the paparazzi to go?
I go to college on Long Island.
No. I can send it to you. What? I can send it to you.
Oh, Matt could take one picture. We'll take two.
No, we don't have time to take this. Give him the phone. Matt.
Shit. Why? What'd you get? Charlie, you're on TV.
Hey! I was just looking at my phone.
It's all worth it. You want to come over to the job? Oh, yeah. Great game.
They could win that game.
Good job.
Yep. Yep.
Nice job, guys.
Big dubs. Only dubs. Big dubs. This is our town.
Yo, Kenny. Nice job, gentlemen. Hold on, Mike. Thank you.
It was a present from Gary LaRock.
What's that? I know. You got picked off. Why did they take it? You are well just like you. All right, second. Well, I thought you were gonna go. And then you had to be. Yeah, the fact you got that goal. Once you slow down.
Fourth is a friend of mine.
That's right.
Sanjay, your first Mayor's Cup as head coach of this team. Couldn't ask for anything more dramatic.
Very exciting game. Very exciting. We had a couple of different plays at the plate. I think we were lucky enough to get a couple of them our way. You know.
One of these seasons for you. You came in at 3-16 to this game, but as we talked about a couple of times on the phone and here today, you've had so many close games, so many close calls, and finally you get one to go your way.
Well, I told the boys that this is like Army versus Navy. Doesn't matter what the record is. Michigan State versus Michigan. You know, it really doesn't matter. You know, when you have a rivalry, crosstown rivalry, the records go out the window, and it's really about who plays better that day.
And how about the young man standing to your left? Pitched one heck of a game.
Pitched a really good game. You know, he had a really good game the first game of the season. He pitched a two-hitter against Farmington. He had a really great outing when he pitched middle relief against Glastonbury. And then today, you know, he was injured for a little bit. And last week he showed that he was ready. And today I talked to him in the hallways, and he's like, "I'm ready to go, coach." And then at the end of the game when I talked to him about coming out and having a relief pitcher, he wouldn't have any of it.
He was a true warrior against the Warriors today.
True chieftain.
That's for sure. Well, hey, congratulations on the win, and we'll see you again next year, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Great job on the mound today.
Thank you.
One of these things, I was looking at some of the numbers coming in, didn't have the best control this year, but kept the walks down to 3 today. I think that was one of the keys for it.
Yeah, I felt really good today, and one thing I tried to work on was just throwing strikes because I know my defense can make plays behind me, and it worked because, I mean, obviously when we give up 3 runs and they only had 5 or 6 hits, so that was one thing that was able to be very successful today.
Talk about working with Porcello. Seemed like you guys, as a tandem, really worked well.
It did, yeah. We've been working all season and part of last season in the summer, and we're a pretty good duo, I think, and I was on the same page as him a lot, so that's one good thing to have someone who you agree with who's calling the pitches for you.
What's it mean to beat Hall, especially after they really got you the first time?
It's awesome. I mean, we didn't have the most successful season. It was a bit disappointing, but, I mean, this is the biggest game of the year, in my opinion, so we all came out ready to play, and winning this just makes the season so much better.
Team had a dramatic win here last year, walk-off victory, and same thing here today.
There's always close games against Hall. Earlier in the season, it was close for a while and then got a little out of hand. But, I mean, it's always good games with Hall, and today was no exception. So,
well, thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, Michael Matthews, the winning pitcher today, as the Conard Chieftains win in dramatic fashion by the count of 3-2. They retain the Mayor's Cup as they win it for a second consecutive year after Hall had won the first 3. So now it's 3-2 in the 5-year history of this classic game. Thanks to all involved. Thanks for a great spring season, and we'll see you again in the fall for more high school sports as presented by the War Chief Sports Council. Pete Lamoureux for all involved saying thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.
Yeah, no. I will. Good to see you.